From the mind of Stephen King comes the story of a simple man.
I can make you smarter.
A brilliant scientist.
It's going to be like being up there with the stars, Joe. Like going to another planet.
And an experiment in virtual reality. Now, the imaginary is real.
Mind over matter, Dr. Regal. This is beyond anything I ever expected.
And reality is beyond belief. Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man.
Okay, first of all, I wanted to get that trailer specifically because it did say Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man, but unfortunately that came from the City Slickers VHS tape, and I couldn't find a clean copy online, so I just took it from another video which had somebody else recorded off a TV, so that's why it looks so bad. But like I said before, there's a little bit of a story behind this. This is technically not based off of a Stephen King story, sort of. The title itself comes from a 1975 short story by King, and the actual film itself was adapted from an original screenplay called Cyber God. Both stories involving a gardener who operates a lawnmower, but the film has very similarities to what King's story was. And because of this, Stephen King sued the company and won the lawsuit to have his name removed from the credits. Like, if you look online for the trailer for this, on a Scream Factory's website and all these other websites, it automatically takes out the fact that Stephen King was involved in this. So, like, going in the beginning, from the imagination, and then just nothing after that. But you could tell that they were going to say from the imagination of Stephen King, which technically wasn't true. And he actually won more money because they actually used that in the home video as well. They used his name on there, and so yeah, that's an interesting story about this. This is not technically a Stephen King film, although if you watch the film, it's filmed kind of like a story based off of a Stephen King movie. And it's interesting because Stephen King is very selective when he puts his name on something, and he's not the biggest fan of it. Like, he really didn't like the Stanley Kubrick Shining, which that should pretty much tell you what is. He doesn't like that movie, but he likes the one that he did for ABC in the 90s with Steven Weber in the role of Jack Torrance, and he has put his name on some really crappy movies like the Children of the Corn sequels, and most notably Dreamcatcher. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Stephen King is. I don't know. Take that as what you will. But let's talk about this actual movie itself, because we've gone like 2 minutes now, and I haven't even talked about the actual movie itself. The actual movie itself is overall pretty good. It's very dated on a number of levels. The CG effects really look terrible, but it did come out at the right time because we were just less than a year after Terminator 2 really stunned everybody with how gorgeous the CG could really be. But then, of course, as we've seen in years past, that CG doesn't usually look as good as it does before nowadays. But you still get good CG, but it's more bad CG than good CG. This came out at the exact right time for a movie like this to really succeed. Another thing about this movie that really feels very dated. The fact that it thinks virtual reality is going to be the end all of this world, and in fact, this movie actually did inspire a number of virtual reality style movies, like more notably Keanu Reeves and Johnny Mnemonic, and from the same director, Brett Leonard, Virtuosity with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. Both of those movies came out in '95, so I'll hold off on those for now. But again, we haven't really talked about the movie itself, and like I said, the movie is a pretty good film, and it mostly works because of both Pierce Brosnan and Jeff Fahey. I think these two really work as in these characters. Jeff Fahey can be really scary at times in this movie, and he definitely does have a really good performance in here that really stands out overall here. The dialogue here is very badly written at times. There's also a lot of emphasis. There's also a lot of things about the story that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, there's one scene in particular where Pierce Brosnan's talking about how Joe learned Latin so quickly, and it took Pierce Brosnan so many years to do it. Well, technically, the Latin alphabet and everything in Latin is, for the most part, is pretty much in English. So it really shouldn't take you that long to really understand that. I probably am completely botching this, but you get some of the idea of how some of this is trying to be this deep, dark satire kind of what virtual reality could be like, but it really doesn't work that way, honestly. And of course, virtual reality never really took off until most recently with the Oculus and all that. But at least then they've had some time to like perfect it, kind of, sort of. But yeah, like I said, as far as the movie itself goes, it does still hold up, mostly because of the performances by Bronson and Fahey. They really are putting their all into this. And like I said, there are legitimately terrifying moments at times. Like, it even ends on kind of a really scary, kind of a, not really scary, but a really chilling note about a line that's used early in the film, and how this one character doesn't make it out, but but if this certain thing happens, you know that he's still alive, and that thing happens at the end, and just the way that it's shot and the way how the movie ends, it's a very effective scene. There's a lot of things about this movie that do work, a lot of things that don't work, but as far as the movie itself goes, I had a good time with it. It's one that I probably wouldn't watch over and over again, but maybe once every couple of years, I'd definitely check it out again. It is a fine movie. It's a fine movie for what it is. Very dated in so many places, but a fun kind of dated in a way when you really think about it. So, and honestly, it's, considering the rest of the movies that we have here, it's the best new release of the weekend, which probably will not be saying much once I show you these other movies. In fact, let's get to another one of those movies, and that is Cuba Gooding Jr. starring in Gladiator. Not that Gladiator, not the Russell Crowe one, a different kind of Gladiator.
Mr. Riley.
You are a natural kid.
The power's still around.
You the boy I've been waiting for.
I'm my own man, Mr. Horn.
Hey, Older, you got some hammer, huh? Everywhere you go, people will say, Champ, we love you. Champ, we are with you. Get him.
It's illegal, Tommy.
What goes on in that ring is a human cockfight.
1, 2, 3.
You baptized now.
I'm talking $2 million in your pocket.
Be honest about it. You want the money, right?
What do you want, Tommy?
We're in this together.
This is my ticket. I ain't gonna fight you. You run out on this, you better keep on running. You fight when I say. You fight against who I say.
He wants you to kill each other.
It's time to make a choice.
It's either you or him.
Hey, we got a fighter. He don't pay.
Hey! You don't say no to me, boy. Cuba Gooding Jr., star of Boys in the Hood. Cara Buono. John Seda. Introducing James Marshall. You see, Tommy, you're the boy I've been looking for. Gladiator. Nobody owns Tommy Riley. Nobody.
I will survive.
Wow, way to rip off Rocky. I mean, this movie looks like a rip-off of Rocky, even with the original director of this, who was going to be John G. Avildsen, who, guess what? He directed the original Rocky, as well as Rocky V. Different quality of movies there, but they're not even trying to hide it. I mean, they really were trying to rip off Rocky, and they failed miserably with this movie. And it's just not a very good movie. I mean, you've got a good cast here. Cuba Gooding Jr., you've got Ossie Davis is also in here, John Hurd, Brian Dennehy, John Seda, Carabono, and they're trying their best here, but they're not even trying to hide the fact that this is a straight-up rip-off of Rocky, except instead of it taking place in 1976, this is taking place in the 1990s, and really, if you're going to try to do a new Rocky for the 90s, actually try. In fact, do that with any movie that you're trying to make a new version of for a new generation. They weren't even doing that, and they basically just did this. I feel like they basically did this to try to sell the soundtrack, because you saw at the end there, they had a lot of like notable name people from the time period, including a Warrant, Tony Terry, third bass, Martin Page, Cheap Trick. But even then, that didn't work. I think the only song that was a success on there was the remake of We Will Rock You by Warrant, but even then, that really wasn't saying a whole lot, so, yeah, pretty forgettable movie, honestly. It's a movie that just doesn't work on any level whatsoever. Came out instantly forgettable, and just didn't live up to the hype that they wanted it to be, so, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Once Upon a Crime.
compulsive gambler.
This is my night. I'm rolling like a hunchback doing somersaults.
An exotic tourist.
I feel like a fugitive. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink.
An ugly American.
Oh, this a police car? And a boiler removed from my ass bigger than this.
A pretty American.
East Coast.
Yes, New Jersey.
I'm so sorry.
An irresistible charmer.
From the moment I first saw you, the light shimmering off your safety deposit box.
A countess.
But if the police investigate, they'll discover it wasn't you I was in bed with.
An inspector to catch the killer.
Lives are at the stake.
I'll do anything you ask. Anything you want. Foreplay.
Pitiful lives, but lives nevertheless.
And a clever canine who saw it all.
The dog is the key.
Do you have the dog's papers? It's their dog.
You got a problem?
Murder most foul.
It's him.
This is the man.
It was this couple.
Help me back. We gotta get out of here.
I'm out.
In a movie most funny.
A woman is trying to kill a dog. We have found the elusive dachshund.
He is my dog, but just since yesterday.
So what else?
You will need an attorney, monsieur.
What I need is an agent.
John Candy, James Belushi, Sybil Shepherd, Sean Young, Richard Lewis, Ornella Muti, Giancarlo Giannini, Napoleon as Napoleon, and George Hamilton as Alfonso de la Peña.
Okay, Tam boy, you're coming with me. Please, do not harm me. I beg of you. My face is my fortune.
Once Upon a Crime.
Yes! Yes! I love it, I love it, I love it!
Again, if you're going to try to do something for a new generation, can you at least try to do something that hasn't been done already? I mean, not only does this movie look like a mix between Murder on the Orient Express and Clue, and not even a really clever version, it just didn't work. I mean, you have great people involved in here. Charles Shire and Nancy Myers, who had just done Father of the Bride, which was a great movie. A great cast, including John Candy, James Belushi, Sybil Shepherd, Sean Young, Richard Lewis, George Hamilton. And it's directed by Eugene Levy, and I never knew that he directed a movie, and this was the only one that he ever directed. And you can kind of see why. I just don't think he was cut out to be a director. And it's one of those things where, like with Eddie Murphy when he did Harlem Nights, everyone's entitled to be a director. If it doesn't work, then you just move on with your life. And it's another one that doesn't work. It's not really all that funny. It wastes a pretty good cast on here, on a script that really isn't all that clever or intriguing or even that enjoyable. And it's just like they're failing miserably to try to get some good laughs here. And there's just none there. It's a movie that really does not work on any level whatsoever. And it's a disappointment on so many levels because of the talent that's involved here. And, yeah, it just isn't very good. But, it wasn't the only ensemble black comedy to come out this weekend that failed miserably. Let's talk about Blame It on the Bellboy.
Hello, this is your announcer speaking. At this time, the producers of Blame It on the Bellboy had hoped to show you their film in its entirety. But a double bill seems to be out of the question. Instead, we've graciously been granted permission to show you 1 minute of selected scenes from our film. The love scene.
Hanky panky.
Rumpy bumpy.
Slap and tickle.
The suspense scene. The big music scene.
Feeling
Good Lord.
nothing more than feeling. Trying to forget my...
And of course, the chase scene. Unfortunately, our time is running out, and we won't be able to show you the sex scene. Sorry, but if you want to see more, go see Dudley Moore, Brian Brown, Patsy Kensit, and Bronson Pinchot in the story of a bellboy who turns everyone's vacation into a disaster scene. The New York Times calls it witty. This fast-paced farce is effervescent fun. Blame it on the bellboy.
Thank you. You've been a great help.
This show ain't no good.
Yeah, Elvis pretty much they made the good point there. This ain't no good. And if I had a gun right now, I'd probably shoot the TV too after watching that. Or the computer, because that's where I got that from. But, yeah, what kind of a trailer was that? Like, you're supposed to show the best stuff in the trailer. If that's the best stuff that they had for this movie, then you know that this movie was completely doomed from the start. It's another attempt to try to do another Fish Called Wanda, but A Fish Called Wanda was so much better written, so much funnier, had a great cast involved. This just does not have that. It's like with Once Upon a Crime. They're trying way too hard to get some laughs here, and the laughs just aren't cutting it. They're not funny. It's not enjoyable on any level. It's just a boring movie. It's just a bland, unfunny mess of a film, and excuse me. And like I said, it just doesn't work. It's a movie that doesn't work whatsoever. And that's really all I got for you on this one. So let's go ahead and move on to the last movie then. It's Luke Perry in his first feature film after finding success with Beverly Hills 90210, Terminal Bliss.
Is the film Less Than Zero tried to be? Luke Perry in his motion picture debut.
Sexy suit. Arouses my Lolita complex.
For him, there were no rules.
So what is it? You and Alex now?
Whatever he wanted, he took.
Stevie, you okay? Man, she's my girlfriend, and when I say she wants to be alone, she wants to be alone.
Every woman had to be his, even his best friend's girl.
Okay, you pretty much saw everything you need to know about this movie. It's another one of those movies that feels like it's being so important and feels like it needed to be seen in the theater when it could have been like the Fox TV movie of the week or the NBC movie of the week. Because really, there was nothing in that trailer that makes you think that this is going to be something incredible. It's going to be something amazing when it really isn't. There's nothing there. I guess to Luke Perry's credit, he's not he doesn't seem terrible in this, but other than that, though, there's nothing in here that I really would see that would make people believe that this is worthy of a theatrical release. This is something that you would find in a Blockbuster video late on a Friday night in the 90s if you're trying to look for something new to watch. You'd probably grab it because you see Luke Perry on there. He's on Beverly Hills 90210, which was one of the biggest shows at the time. And you probably come back very disappointed by it. That's pretty much all I got to say about this one. It's like, yeah, that trailer for Terminal Bliss does not really engage me in wanting to see it. So that's Terminal Bliss for you.
A funny thing happened to William and Stanley on their way to college.
At what point did you shoot the clerk?
They got framed for murder.
Whoa! Wait a minute!
Now, two kids from New York are in deep trouble.
It's time to make your phone call.
The clan's here. They're inbred. They sleep with their sisters.
In the deep south.
Some of them do.
And only one man can save them.
You need to call an attorney, a great attorney.
He's not your typical hero.
We got an attorney in the family. Great, who?
He's
my cousin Vinny. You stick out like a sore thumb around here.
Oh, yeah, you blend.
You graduated from law school 6 years ago. What have you been doing since? Studying for the bar. That's a lot of studying. What's this over here?
You never heard of grits?
Sure. I used to actually never seen a grit before.
It's his first case.
Now, didn't I tell you dress appropriately?
You were serious about that?
The way you handled that judge, oh, you're a smooth talker, you are.
It's their last chance.
The two youths.
Did you say utes?
Yeah, two youths.
What is a ute?
But with Vinny's style,
I wore this ridiculous thing for you.
And Vinny's girlfriend.
We agreed to get married as soon as you won your first case. My biological clock is ticking like this, and the way this case is going, I ain't never getting married.
They're dead meat.
May I have permission to treat Ms. Vito as a hostile witness?
You think I'm hostile? Now wait till you see me tonight.
Joe Pesci is my cousin Vinny.
You two know each other?
Yeah, she's my fiancée.
Well, that certainly explains the hostility.
This is one of those movies where really you don't really need to say a whole lot about it because honestly, My Cousin Vinny's a classic comedy, plain and simple. And it works largely because of the people that are involved in the cast. You have Joe Pesci, who's given honestly one of his best comedic performances ever in this role. You have a great veteran actor in Fred Gwynne, you also playing the judge, who's also really funny in this. This is actually his last film that he was in before he passed away. Bruce McGill is also in here. You also have Ralph Macchio and Mitchell Whitfield playing the two kids who get arrested and are facing the court. And then there's also Marissa Tomei in a performance that was so good that she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in the following year, which was really rare for the Academy Awards to acknowledge a great comedy like this. Because usually, one of the biggest problems with the Academy Awards, even back then, was that they really didn't put the focus on the comedies and more just the dramas, mostly the Oscar bait dramas. But every once in a while, they acknowledge the comedies that did have some good performances in them. Recent ones have included such films as Melissa McCarthy, who got nominated for Bridesmaids. Trying to think of who else. One of the notable ones, Tootsie, was one of the biggest ones, honestly. They got a lot of Oscar nominations when that movie came out. Robert Downey Jr., who got nominated for Tropic Thunder, and so many other ones too. But nowadays, even nowadays, that's rare and for them to actually acknowledge that a comedy has an Oscar-worthy performance, let alone one that wins an Academy Award. But really, when you watch the film, Marissa Tomei is really good. She's not only really funny, but she really gives the best performance of the actresses that were nominated that year, honestly. And it's a very funny movie and a pretty straightforward, accurate depiction of how these lawyers do their job. It's an accurate depiction of how the courtroom system works, and that was one of the biggest surprises about it, is how authentic it really felt. It's a really funny film, a really smart film. I really don't have much more to say about this one. My Cousin Vinny, fantastic film. If you haven't seen it already, do yourself a favor and watch it, man. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, which is actually directed by Edward James Olmos, and that is American Me.
We're like two people. One is like a kid. That's the one I cared about. But the other one.
The way it has always been. From father to son.
It's all we've ever had. It is us.
From brother to brother.
No, move the door, man!
He ruled a world we do not know.
The Italians are still running the show, but they're getting sloppy, man.
You'll regret the day you make that choice.
Well, your business kills kids, man.
You know, sometimes your whole life can change from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. If we show weakness in our homes, everybody's gonna see it.
Our clica, our barrio, our families, that's all we got is
It gives to us. It is us. We don't fake it, we just take it.
You got a lot of heart, carnal.
Maybe too much.
From director Edward James Olmos. Inspired by a true story. American Me.
You know, I know that music from the Carlitos Way trailer. I'm guessing that this is where that came from, but don't quote me on that. But, yeah, I didn't know Edward James Olmos directed this movie, and he really is a very underrated character actor when you really see the movies that he's been involved in. And this movie in particular shows you kind of why he's such a great actor. This is a really good, underrated film. It's a very good, underrated crime thriller, loosely based on mob boss Rodolfo Cadena, and it's just a very good movie. It's visually stunning to look at. The writing overall is very solid. They have a great cast involved in this. It's just a really good, underrated film. It's a movie that I don't think a lot of people really talk about when it comes to the great crime thrillers, but it's a pretty damn good movie. It's a really good film that, in a way, could kind of be kind of the Mexican equivalent to The Godfather in some way, shape, or form. Which I know that's high praise. I know that's putting a lot of high praise on this, but there are definitely a lot of elements here that feel like almost took a lot of inspiration from the Godfather movies, and it definitely shows in this film. As far as I know, I don't think he's ever directed another film after this. If he did, it's probably one that I haven't heard about, but I'll have to look into that. But as far as the first film goes, he does a pretty good job with it. It's a very underrated film. I'd say definitely check it out if you want to see a good underrated crime thriller. American Me is definitely one that you should definitely check out. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Article 99, which for some reason has an incredible all-star cast, and yet I've never heard about it, which could mean one of two things, but we'll watch the trailer and then decide on that afterward.
Sir, without certification, we have no actual proof that you are disabled.
You want proof? All right, look, I'll give you some damn proof. You want some proof? You want some proof? You want some proof? Here's the damn proof. I got the proof. Here's the proof right here.
Welcome to Monument Heights Veterans Hospital.
My name is Dr. Peter Morgan. It's my first day here.
Oh! The government's come up with a whole new disease called the creeping cutback. Whatever you need, you ain't gonna get. And whatever you get, ain't worth jack.
We're not responsible for every lunatic out there just because he once wore a uniform.
Hey, baby, what's happening?
Now, Rudy, let's out.
Okay, next batter.
What do you use as an anesthetic? The electric chair?
When you're in the ward,
treatment they authorize he doesn't need. They won't authorize the treatment that he does, so the idea is to keep him here until they finally do.
Let's go. It's like a war going on in there.
Tell me about it, kid.
I operate this hospital in the best interest of our patients.
This hospital operates with only one interest, your own.
when you're under the knife.
This patient needs open heart surgery.
I thought heart surgery was no longer authorized.
Look, we're here, he's here. Why don't we make the most of this?
I need to get rid of certain dysfunctioning elements.
You think the priorities are cutting the budget instead of easing the suffering and the anxiety of the people that this place was built for?
When the heroes are forgotten.
Here, take this. I got nobody else to give it to.
Look, everything's gonna be all right.
When the bottom line is life or death.
You better treat him as well as you treat your father, so help me God, I'll break your neck.
There's one rule you've got to break.
Article 99?
Article 99.
Article 99.
One choice you've got to make.
That's far enough.
Disarm that man.
Before 25 an hour.
Pull.
Article 99.
So just to run down that cast again: Ray Liotta, Kiefer Sutherland, Forrest Whitaker, Leah Thompson, John C. McGinley, John Mahoney, Keith David, Kathy Baker, Eli Wallach, Noble Willingham, Lynn Thigpen, and Jeffrey Tambor are all in that cast. And the music is done by Danny Elfman, and this is directed by Howard Deutsch, who also did comedies like The Great Outdoors and, to lesser extents, Howard the Duck. But yeah, how come I never heard of this movie? Well, it didn't really make a whole lot of money at the box office, and the critical response to this was very mixed on it. And definitely by that trailer, you can kind of see maybe why this didn't work out so well. I don't think they had a good idea of what kind of a tone they wanted to set with this movie. Did this want to be more of a straightforward comedy? Did it want to be more like a drama? You really can't tell from this one trailer that what kind of direction they wanted to go with it. And to me, I think that's the reason why this movie doesn't get talked about a whole lot, and probably why this movie isn't really worth it, despite the great cast that's involved in this. Like, I mean, who knows? Maybe it could be good. I haven't seen it. I can't really comment on it, unfortunately. But that trailer did not really sell me on that film whatsoever, unfortunately. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about Article 99. Let's go ahead and move on to a better movie, at least in terms of it being of noteworthiness, and that is Howard's Ed.
They've taken the for the Western Sun, and the Wilcox punched our house.
This is, of course, another Merchant Ivory production. It's actually the third adaptation of a novel of a novel by Ian Forster. The other two being A Room with a View and Maurice. And basically, the film explores class relations in terms of the 20th century Britain through events in the life of these sisters. You got a great cast that includes Anthony Hopkins, Vanessa Redgrave, Helena Bonham Carter, and you also have an Oscar-winning performance by Emma Thompson in this film. And you could definitely see why. This is one of the few Merchant Ivory films I've actually seen, and honestly, it is pretty good. It's a movie that really works mostly because of how great the cast is. I think this cast works phenomenally well. You can definitely tell that the effort is there to try to recapture the spirit of this story, and it just works because of how good the cast is. It really does keep the film afloat. Visually, it looks impressive. The storytelling is gripping and groundbreaking, and it is just really a ton of fun to watch. It's a very good film, a very well-made film. It's definitely worth a watch. I don't think I can really say anything more that hasn't already been said already on this one. Howard's End, just a great film. So, and let's go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum with a great film in its own reasons. The dark comedy Shakes the Clown.
Two-fisted action.
I know karate. Well, I know the Vulcan nerve pinch.
High drama.
Hey, wait a minute. You clowns are on dope.
And forbidden romance. You, might want to look somewhere else.
What's your name?
Shakes. Shakes the Clown.
Oh, my head.
You're not funny, clown.
Okay. Blow that horn one more time. Shove it right up here.
Everybody loves the clown, so why don't I?
Mom, who's the naked clown in our bathroom?
The total disregard for the clown code of ethics. Would make your poor father Lippy turn over in his grave. Oh, and Shakes?
Yeah.
Take a bath, will you?
Yeah.
Oh, really scary.
Guys like that, you know? You give clowns a bad name.
When's the last time a film's made you feel this good, huh?
You spit out. No, I never saw you. No, it was yummy.
Hubba, Julie Brown.
Leave me alone, milkman scum.
Bobcat Goldflick, wait.
Here I come! Ready or not!
In the Citizen Kane of alcoholic clown movies.
What a morning.
Shakes the Clown.
Had enough?
Yeah, this was definitely a movie that was way ahead of its time. I mean, it got largely panned by critics. It was actually nominated by the Razzies as one of the worst movies of the year, which, considering that it was up in the same category as Nothing But Trouble, needless to say, I think you could tell which movie was the better film, and this movie was that, so. But, this is a pretty damn good movie. It's very funny. It's very much what a good Bobcat Goldthwait film should be like. It's not something like Hot to Trot. It's dark. It's gritty. It's good black comedy. It's friggin' hilarious. I love this movie so much. This is a movie that I discovered as of recently, a couple years ago. I watched it for the first time, and I'm so glad I did because, man, this made me laugh so hard the first time I saw it. Great movie. Bobcat Goldthwait's great in this. You also have Julie Brown in here. Great cast overall. You got not only them, but you also have Blake Clark. You have Kathy Griffin, Florence Henderson, Tom Kenny, Adam Sandler, even Robin Williams makes a cameo in this movie, and it's just funny. It's just really, really funny stuff. It's absolutely hilarious, and it's a movie that really deserves a lot more attention, and I'm glad that it is getting more of a cult following because it does really work so well, and it's very funny, but it's also but the way they do the serious stuff, like they really tackle alcoholism in this and make it work so it's not preachy, but it feels very realistic, and that's really one of the great accomplishments about it. It can make you laugh, but it can also make you feel as well. It's a fantastic film. If you haven't seen Shakes the Clown, please by all means check it out. You are doing yourself a huge disservice. If you like good dark comedy, this is going to fill that quota very nicely. Shakes the Clown, fantastic film. Need I say more? With that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie that we have here, which I completely I can't really remember it right now until right now, and that is Raise the Red Lantern. So as you can tell, this is a film from Hong Kong, directed by Zhang Yimou, who also did Judo, which we looked at on a previous episode. He would later go on to do such notable films as Hero, House of Flying Daggers, Coming Home, some more notorious stuff like The Great Wall, but he's got a knack for visually stunning movies. I mean, this movie really looks impressive, and it looks incredibly dark, and it's not afraid to go over the edge if it needs to, but it's a nice looking film to look at, trailer wise. I haven't seen the movie itself, unfortunately, so I can't really comment on it, but that trailer does pique my interest a whole lot to see how, like, it looks incredibly dark. It looks incredibly bleak, and my interest is very piqued, so maybe one day I'll definitely check it out. It definitely looks like it could be one of those underrated films that came out of that time period. Like, I'm not really much into these Hong Kong films as much as everybody else is, but this definitely piques my interest. It's one that I definitely want to check out one day, and I may do that in the near future, so stay tuned for that. But pretty good trailer though. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the last movie, which now I can't remember that one. Hold on a second. Okay, the last movie that we have here is Highway to Hell.
Join us on a dazzling cinematic adventure down the highway to hell. A winding route that stretches from here to eternity. Discover the warm, energetic, inventive, and friendly inhabitants of hell.
Can you tell me the quickest way to hell?
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Share with them their traditional crafts and delicious local cuisine.
Vegetarian bitch!
Paging Saddam Hussein.
Bastard!
Down here, that's a compliment.
You'll marvel at the unusual flora and fauna. Delight in the people's daily pursuits.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. Oh.
And see reenactments of rituals that go back hundreds of thousands of years. Once you have crossed, there is no way back.
I'm gonna scoop your brain!
Learn how a people steeped in tradition have made their city a thriving modern metropolis.
It's the cop from hell!
And meet the individuals who have made hell the international hotspot it is today. I am the Prince of Princes.
We've heard that story before, haven't we?
Highway to Hell. An unforgettable journey from Sovereign Pictures. Now we'll have some fun.
So if I was to tell you that this is the same man that directed Drop Dead Fred, would you believe me? Yeah, I didn't think so. This movie kicks the crap out of Drop Dead Fred, but it's really damn good. It's a movie that I don't think a lot of people really mention a lot, but it has to have a cult following because, my God, this movie looks so insane and visually gorgeous in its own way, and it looks like it's a ton of fun. Like, I've seen this movie before, I saw it recently, and it's just hilarious. It's just a fun time all around. You've got this great cast. You have people like Patrick Bergin, Christy Swanson's also in here. You also have Richard Farnsworth. You got a ton of cameos by people like Lita Ford, Gilbert Gottfried as Adolf Hitler. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? And also Ben Stiller's in this movie. And just the visuals in this movie look incredible. Like, a lot of these effects look very practical. And this is actually written by Brian Helgeland, who would later go on to become is a very notable screenwriter. He would write films such as L.A. Confidential, Payback, A Knight's Tale, Mystic River, Bloodwork, Man on Fire, 42. These great movies. And this was one of his early film roles. This is actually the third film he wrote. And I think this was his last horror film, because he did A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, then he did the Robert Englund directed 976 Evil, and now this movie. And as I said before, man, this movie is a ton of fun. Like, I went into this completely unknown about what this movie was going to be like, and man, it really took me by completely by surprise. And it's a great film. If you haven't seen it, if you're looking for a fun, good time B-horror comedy, this is definitely it right here. If you think Drop Dead is it's hard to imagine that this same man also did Drop Dead Fred. Like, talk about a step down in quality, but in a way, it's a step up from in quality because this came out after Drop Dead Fred, even though this was filmed before Drop Dead Fred. Like, it was because Hemdale was in bankruptcy. I think they were in bankruptcy, but they put it on the shelf for the longest time, and then they released it shortly afterward. And just dumped it out there. But hey, it's out there, and it's actually pretty damn good. If you haven't seen Highway to Hell, definitely check it out. It's really, really well worth your time.
We got 31 staffers, or was it? Ice pick. Speak to Miss Captain Janelle, please. Is she the suspect? She's the suspect.
I wanted to write a book about the murder of retired rock and roll star.
Yeah, she does the boyfriend. With an ice pick.
She intended the book to be your alibi. I picked him up, and I had sex with him.
You didn't feel anything for him, you just had sex with him for your book.
In the beginning. Then I got to like what he did for me.
You like playing games, don't you?
It's nice.
You've got no physical evidence. She's lying. What'd you look about?
A detective. He falls for the wrong woman.
What happens?
She kills him.
Stay away from her.
You are out of control, girl.
You won't learn anything I don't want you to know.
She knew I'd say she did it. She knew that nobody would buy it. She is screwing with your head, Nick.
She knows things about me that I only told you.
How's it feel to kill someone?
You tell me.
You got too close to the phone. Who do you like? You're in over your head. She seduces people.
It was internal affairs, wasn't it?
She manipulates people.
Freeze!
How much did she pay you?
You wanna play her? Come on!
She knows where I live. Breathe.
Games are over now.
Now, we've kind of talked about erotic thrillers in the past couple of years. Most of them have not been very good, and I've always brought back this movie in particular because really, it is probably the best erotic thriller that that's ever come out, honestly. One of the best ones, at least. But, yeah, in terms of what the movie was trying to do, it was trying to tell a story, but also it's also tantalized a lot of sex in there. This is one of the prime examples of a movie that really has stood the test of time, kind of, because it's a movie that's held up over 30 years later. It's a movie that isn't afraid to go as far as it can go, and it isn't afraid to tell a good story here. There's a good story to tell here. There's a good mystery around this, because honestly, you can look at this, and the trailers kind of make you figure it's going to be Sharon Stone who's the killer, and really that's not quite the case. The twist in here is actually kind of good. I actually like what they kind of did with that. And the movie also benefits from the performances by Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas. Both of them have this great chemistry. They work off each other so well. And Sharon Stone really does show that she does have a lot of good acting chops here. She really plays this temptress role very well. The sex scenes are legitimately well done. They're shot very well. They do the job that they need to do. Of course, the most famous scene in the movie is a little bit gratuitous, but you know what? In terms of what the character is doing in that scene, it works for her. It works well enough. It works to the story, and it does make you get more invested into what's going on with the story and these characters. And like I said, the mystery here is really good. There's a good mystery involved here. Not everything about it works. Some of it's very dated. Like, it feels very... Some of the character development isn't as strong, but the performances are what make it stand out more, and also the great score by Jerry Goldsmith, the editing in here, the cinematography by Jean de Bont. A lot of elements here really do work. It's a movie that's very much giving you what you asked for and then some. The mystery aspect is very good. You get so invested in what's going on, and you do wonder how it's going to end. And it does a very good job of handling all those fronts. It's a movie that's really good. I can't recommend this movie enough. This is probably one of the few erotic thrillers that I would highly praise, because it is really good. It's not just a TNA show. It actually is a movie that's showing you something more than what you think it's going to show you. And it's a really good film. It's a very good film. I can't recommend this movie enough. Definitely check out Basic Instinct if you can. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Woody Allen's Shadows and Fog.
We expect the killer to strike again tonight.
The killer? What killer?
The strangler.
What strangler?
The maniac.
What kind of explanation could you possibly have? You're naked in the closet with my sister.
We're getting closer to the 0 hour.
Yes, so what do I do?
Don't you know?
No, everybody has a plan. I'm the only one in town that doesn't know what he's doing.
Mr. Spiro is on the verge of revealing the killer.
What does this man say?
If anyone is killed or hurt as a result of your incompetence.
No, I don't know enough to be incompetent.
The men are looking for you. Kleiman's here! Here he is! Kleiman's here! Get out and die.
So here's kind of another example of a movie that's trying to be two different things, but really it can't do it in this case. In this movie, you can tell the movie's trying to go for some kind of German expressionism parody, but it's also trying to mix it with a screenplay by Woody Allen, and his typical writing style doesn't really fit with the movie here, and it definitely shows on screen. There's not really a whole lot there in terms of like weight or entertainment value here compared to Allen's other works. It just feels very forgettable and really just not enjoyable in the slightest whatsoever. And this is one of those movies that has a great cast involved. There's a huge cast involved in this one. Besides Allen, you have Kathy Bates, you've got Philip Bosco, John Cusack, Mia Farrow, Fred Gwynne, Julie Kavner, William H. Macy, Madonna, John Malkovich, Kenneth Mars, Kate Nelligan, Donald Pleasance, James Rebhorn, John C. Reilly, Wallace Shawn, Kurtwood Smith, David Ogden Stiers, Lily Tomlin. A big cast involved in this, but really, unfortunately, there's just nothing there for anybody to do. I mean, it's a movie that really is it's just another Woody Allen movie, but it's not the type of Woody Allen movie that makes a great Woody Allen film. It's one of those movies where it just feels like He's just making a movie to have another movie come out. And also note, this is actually one of the last one that he did for Orion Pictures, because around this time Orion Pictures was going into bankruptcy, and so most of his films moved over to Columbia Pictures at that point, because he'd have another movie out this year called Husbands and Wives, which would receive much better praise than this movie did. And we'll get to that one when we get to that one. But as far as this movie goes, yeah, it's just not a very good movie. It's a very underwhelming film. Not one of Woody Allen's best films, unfortunately. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here. It's another one of those ensemble screwball comedies. We've gotten a couple of them in the last couple of weeks. We had Once Upon a Crime, and then we had Blame It on the Bellboy. Will the third time be the charm with Noises Off? Let's find out.
Once upon a time, in a place of make-believe, there was a little theater company that couldn't.
Sorry, folks. Am I doing something wrong?
They couldn't get their cues right.
What is going on?
They couldn't get their lines straight.
We only just managed to fit it in. I mean, we'd only just do it. I mean...
They couldn't even stand on their own 2 feet.
Are you all right, Barry?
Don't panic, don't panic!
He's all right!
Oh, well done.
Until a director was hired
Hold it! Stop.
Stop.
Hold it!
to take control.
God said, hold it!
He started with the basics.
We know you've worked over in London in some very classy places where they let you make the play up as you go along. But we don't want that kind of thing here, love.
Develop their talent.
Would it perhaps be better if I came on a little earlier? Right, only a little sooner, a shade earlier, like yesterday.
Nurtured their creativity.
Let me just say one thing. No. Could I ask another dumb question? No.
And guided their every move.
Don't fall down, Tim. We may not be insured.
Now, if he can only get them to Broadway in one piece.
I'm starting to know what God felt like.
And what did he feel like?
Very pleased he'd taken his Valium.
They just might have a happy ending.
It's like the band playing on as the Titanic sank.
Touchstone Pictures and Amblin Entertainment present a Peter Bogdanovich picture.
Is it a party?
Noises Off.
I've worked with a lot of directors, but I've never met one who was so totally and absolutely, I don't know.
Beautifully put, Gary.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, I'll give it credit. It's a little bit better than Once Upon a Crime or Blame It on the Bellboy, but that's really not saying a whole lot here. You've got a great cast in here, including Michael Caine, Carol Burnett, Christopher Reeve, John Ritter, Mary Lou Henner, Nicolette Sheridan, Julie Haggerty, Marklyn Baker. This actually also has Denholm Elliott in one of his last roles before his death in October. It's directed by Peter Bogdanovich too. I get it's one of those odd comedies where I think they probably thought that Peter Bogdanovich could make a comedy that would equate to a success to his other works. You know, this is the man who also did stuff like The Last Picture Show, What's Up Doc, Paper Moon, Nickelodeon, Mask. We already talked about Texas Film in a previous episode. But the movie overall just comes up very short. There are funny moments in here, and I think they're very few and far between. I think the movie tries a little too hard to capture the spirit of the play that this is based off of, the Broadway musical that this is based off of. Not even a Broadway musical, the Broadway version of this. But I'll give it this though. Like I said, it does have funny moments in it. They're very few and far between though. The cast does okay, but the biggest problem with the film is that the story never finds the common ground to make itself work on the whole. Like, how do I put this? Try to imagine Birdman before Birdman, is only not as well put together, and without those breakthrough, brilliant performances that Birdman had, and a much lighter sense of comedy on it. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the Broadway equivalent to Soap Dish, but Soap Dish was another movie that was much better than this. So, I don't hate this movie, but overall, it doesn't really have enough there to really recommend it. Some funny moments there. The cast does what it can with the script given to them, but it's definitely one that's not going to hurt you to skip over. So that's Noises Off. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, and that is Edward II.
And share this kingdom with thy dearest friend.
In 1593, Christopher Marlowe wrote one of the jewels of the Elizabethan theater. In 1992, the acclaimed director Derek Jarman brings to the screen an Edward II like you've never seen before.
For now, my lord, the king regards me not, but dotes upon the love of Gaveston. Is it not queer that he is thus bewitched? Do you not wish that Gaveston were dead?
Edward II. The extraordinary new movie by the director of The Tempest and Caravaggio.
Libels are cast against him in the street. Ballads and rhymes made of his overthrow.
Starring Tilda Swinton, winner of the Best Actress Award at the Venice Film Festival. Derek Jarman's film of Christopher Marlowe's Edward II.
So I guess you could. This is kind of a modernized version of the story by Christopher Marlowe. It does say that it is staged in a postmodern style, using a mix of contemporary and medieval props, sets and lighting, and all that kind of stuff. And there is more of a focus on the gay content here. It's more brought into the focus of this movie, notably by adding a homosexual sex scene and depicting Edward's army as gay rights protesters. So I guess it is kind of a modernized story, but unfortunately, I haven't seen this movie, so I can't really comment on it, but I have seen some of the reviews on here. It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm guessing it's a movie that's very well regarded as a good film. But I'm not too familiar with this director's work, Derek Jarman. I think this was one of his last films he directed before he I can't let me just see real quick. Did he die, or did he... Well, he died about 3 years after this movie came out, so I guess this was one of his last films he made, so I really do not know anything about his work, so like I said, I can't really comment on this too much, but it came out this weekend, so I might as well bring it up here. So that's Edward II. Let's go ahead and move on to our last movie here, and that is the documentary American Dream.
We got to give up 23% wages and 30% cut in benefits when the company's making $30 million.
My husband and I am proud to be a wife of a hog cutter. I'm proud of the products, but I don't like the way they're treating my family or anyone else who's ever worked for that plant.
The Hormel company put us into a corner, and we were going to come out after them. We're going to be on strike as of midnight on Friday.
See people working together, people willing to share, people opening up. I think we're pulling together, a big family.
What the hell is the matter with you? It's a union meeting.
What plan of action is everybody here looking for?
What we're doing makes sense, and we believe in it. And belief is something that will carry you a long ways.
It's a doomed strategy, and it was doomed from the beginning. We gotta shut down every plant that Hormel owns Monday morning.
Minnesota Governor Rudy Purpich today called out the National Guard, trying to help maintain order.
This is your community, not 2 or 3 of them greedy executives.
It's a question of morality, because I was brought up that you do not cross the picket line no matter what.
You union people, we ain't crossing no picket line.
My family is number one in my life, not my union.
He won't be my brother if he crosses the line.
We've got a $100 million plant there that needs to be run. If they do stay out, they will be subject to replacement.
They want to freeze us out. They want to starve us out.
It's a war.
So this is a documentary about the unsuccessful Hormel strike of 1985 and 1986, where I guess this union went on strike, and in the end, it failed miserably to get exactly what they wanted, or at least that's what this trailer is implying, and that's what it is on the Wikipedia page. This is another one of those movies I haven't seen before, but it does very much intrigue me. I do like this idea that we get to see how these people try to strike to get whatever they want in this union, and how does the company handle it, and you see the two sides going at each other, and it is a very unique looking trailer from what I see here for a movie that does look very interesting, and yeah, it does look like an interesting documentary. I need to look more into the details on this particular strike and see what happened, but judging by this trailer, there is a lot of interesting ideas here, interesting situations here that I do kind of want to see more about. This is one I might definitely check out later on down the road, but as it is right now, it's a pretty good looking trailer. It's a movie that I'm very curious about, so maybe one day I might actually do a review of it on the website, but yeah, it's definitely got my interest in it. American Dream.
Oh, it's hard work being this good. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts.
Baby, give it up, turn it loose.
It's not about black.
I don't mean to brag, but I'm the greatest.
That's because you never saw me.
It's not about white.
Honey, I'm home.
How much money did you make today?
I missed you too.
I'm sorry, honey.
It's about green.
I want to find out how good you are, chump.
I'm your white shadow.
I have a business proposal for you, as if you don't mind hustling.
What kind of hustle?
$500, baby, and you can pick my teammate.
Give him the chump. You mean play basketball?
I got something for you. Shut your anorexic, malnutrition, tapeworm having, overdose, Dick Gregory, Bahamian diet drinking ass up. Give me my money. I see you hustle.
Hey, I never used no goofy white mother. Hey, who you calling goofy white mother? You.
500 divided by 2. How much do you love me?
I love you, infinity.
Oh, Billy, you're so stupid. You should have said I love you infinity plus infinity.
We shoot you big, but first we want the money. There are rules to hustling. There's an ethics involved.
Yeah, that you wouldn't know a damn thing about.
Will you explain to this Gladys Knight and the pimps?
It's pips. The pips.
Winning and losing is all one big organic globule.
I hate it when you talk like that.
You
got that big C in your fro, man. What are you, the Black Zorro?
What are you doing?
I'm doing two things.
What?
I'm making them mad. Most guys don't play good when they're mad.
Look, you know, you're embarrassing me. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing I'm doing.
I only have 4 words for you. White men can't jump.
Man, if you had stock in Fox in March of 1992, you probably hit the jackpot, because not only did you have this movie, but you had My Cousin Vinny a couple weeks before this, and those were big comedy hits for them, and yeah, your stock was pretty good that month, and if you had any stock in 20th Century Fox at the time, and rightfully so, because My Cousin Vinny was a great movie, so is this movie. It's a really damn good movie. It's written and directed by Ron Shelton, the same man who also gave us Bull Durham and also Blaze. And this is probably his best overall movie. When I really think about it, this is the one that I always come back to. It's one that I watch over and over again. It's just a brilliantly funny movie. Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson work off each other so well. Their chemistry is just perfect in this. They work off each other so well. They each get their chance to shine in this. And even the chemistry between Harrelson and Rosie Perez works very well. I mean, Marissa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny got the Oscar that year for Best Supporting Actress. Rosie Perez should have gotten nominated as well, because, man, if this was the movie that was supposed to break her out into superstardom, this was definitely it, because she really held her own against both of these actors, Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. We'd seen them work well together before, but in other films, but really, Rosie Perez is the breakout here. I mean, she really gives one of the best performance of the movie. She's a ton of fun to watch. She's very funny here. Her chemistry with Woody Harrelson works so well, and you really like this character a whole lot. You really, like I said, you really like all these characters all together, and the comedy is very well written. It knows exactly what you need to be entertained, and really, it pretty much gives you everything that you want from this to make it work, and then some. It's a great movie. It's one I watch all the time. It's one of the greatest sports comedies ever made. Need I say more? White Man Can't Jump. Fantastic film. I'm really scared what they're going to do with the remake, but, I mean, you never know. Sometimes these remakes can actually be good. They are remaking this, by the way, which I guess by the time this is recorded, September 16th of 2022, I think they're making it right now, and it should be coming out within the next year or so, but if not then, it'll be coming within the next couple of years. I do think they are filming it as of this time, so Remake could be good. Remake might work, but chances are it won't. But at least it won't take away from the enjoyment factor of this movie. This movie is just a comedy classic all around. Need I say more? White Man Can't Jump. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, and that is another sports comedy. Maybe not quite as good as White Man Can't Jump, but it's got Rodney Dangerfield in it, so it has something to it. Ladybugs.
Well, in this neighborhood, hey, let's beautify the neighborhood. And stay indoors.
To get ahead in business.
Good luck. Thanks. Oh, and I'm glad you gave me the right finger.
Sometimes you have to play ball.
Chester, my company sponsors a girls' soccer team.
I'm coaching the Ladybugs. Let's sort of go through the promotion, you know.
It's a big office right next to mine, just waiting for a guy like you.
What the hell do you know about soccer? You kick the ball down the field into the net. Try and control the ball. Forget the ball. Try and stay on your feet. Oh, I'm off to a great start.
What he doesn't know.
Win the game, win the game, win the game.
Could get him fired.
Get the book, get the book, get the book.
I can't look.
Hey, what are you, a fish?
What he's willing to try.
What?
Could get him arrested.
No, you're crazy, Chester. It'll never happen.
Chester put a boy on a girls' soccer team.
Ow!
Don't worry, if it's too tight, you'll get used to it. Meet our new ladybug, Martha. Give her a big ladybug reception, all right? And after the game, no showers.
Those going skinny dipping.
I'm here to pick up my daughter, Martha. Get in the car quick, these hills are killing me.
But let the competition beware.
Let them fight. Let's try to win at something.
Nobody plays the field like Dangerfield.
You keep up the good work this time next year, you'll have 10 men under you.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Hey, Dave, can you make it women?
Ladybugs.
All I know is I got a lot of balls.
Okay, maybe it's not quite as good, but I mean, Rodney Dangerfield's pretty fun in this, and you got Jack A. Harriet here. She's very funny. She won an Emmy for 227. I mean, I've seen her in other movies. She's great. She's a great comedian. You got Jonathan Brandis, who would later be seen in Sequest. You also have some other people of noteworthiness. Vanessa Shaw is in this. Tommy Lasorda, the manager of the Dodgers, is a cameo here. Blake Clark, Chuck McCann, some notable names here. This is directed by Sidney J. Furie, and if you don't know him as a director, you definitely have seen his work. It's not quite the best work. I mean, he did Iron Eagle 2, he did The Taking of Beverly Hills, which we looked at on a previous episode, but his most notorious work is Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, which is still one of the worst movies ever made, in my opinion. I mean, but this movie, its biggest problem is that it's pretty much a standard sports comedy mixed with a Tootsie-like type of film that really, it doesn't really mesh together all that well. The script overall is pretty generic. It can kind of predict everything that's going to happen in this movie, but like I said, it's not a terrible movie. I think Rodney Dangerfield really saves the film because he will usually turn in a good performance and some good funny performance in usually the worst movies. I mean, we just looked at Rover of Dangerfield, which is a movie that's not really all that good. It's very formulaic, but you know what? It works because Rodney Dangerfield is involved in it, and he will usually bring his A game to even the worst type of films, and you can still enjoy it just for his performances alone. And here, it does work. I don't think it's a good movie overall, but I don't hate it. I think it's just what it is. It is what it is, so that's Ladybugs. Now let's get to the third sports comedy this week, I guess. Well, technically, it's about the Olympics, so I guess it is a sports comedy. It's the ice skating comedy, The Cutting Edge, starring Moira Kelly and D.B. Sweeney.
It's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm just about 4 hours late here, Rita.
Gita.
Anita.
Gita. Gita.
Close.
Olympic star Doug Dorsey's the best hockey player in America, and he's about to retire. Kate Mosley was America's sweetheart.
Until Hercules here learns how to lock his grip, this will have to do.
And she's got a nickname that rhymes with rich. What a thing. For both of them, the Olympics had become a faraway dream.
Here, you try.
Until someone...
Those are figure skates, pal.
...set up the ultimate blind date.
Who the hell do you think you are?
I'm a guy who came a long way for lunch.
Please don't let me keep you from the trough.
Enough!
The king of the rink and America's ice queen just became a team.
Don't quit your day job.
Would you please put me down? Oh, you Clayton!
Guess that move needs some work.
You were doing what? I'm doing figure skating.
Finger painting?
As a matter of fact, I do have a boyfriend.
What do you do, keep him chained up in the basement?
I don't like to see her upset. If I was you, I'd invest in blindfolds.
Are they going to get it before they kill each other?
You look really nervous. How nervous are you?
Dorsey and Mosley, the American Olympic team's best shot at the goal.
You're falling for him.
Oh, that's crazy. Max, you've missed it. I am throwing myself at you. Get out of my way.
No problem. I've been practicing that move for a year and a half.
D.B. Sweeney.
Man, would I love to see you play hockey.
Moira Kelly.
Any day.
The Cutting Edge.
It's not like his nose was perfect.
Yeah, so kind of like with Ladybugs, this is a movie that we've seen done over and over before. It's a sports comedy mixed with a generic romantic comedy premise, and there's really nothing to it. You can kind of predict everything that's going to happen. You can predict the sports movie cliches. You can predict the romantic comedy cliches. Everything is definitely in here. As far as the movie itself goes, it's kind of like Ladybugs. It's passable. The two leads in here, they're not too bad. D.B. Sweeney and Moira Kelly actually work well with each other. You got Terry O'Quinn in here. You also have Roy Dotrice in this. It's directed by Paul Michael Glaser, and one of the early films from Tony Gilroy, who would later become a top-tier action writer with his work on the Bourne Legacy, the Bourne films, and then Rogue One, a Star Wars story. But, there goes my old phone again. But, yeah, as far as the film itself goes, it's pretty standard. There's nothing really all that exciting about it. Nothing really all that interesting about it, but I didn't hate it. I just thought it was okay. It's something that I watched it once. I was just kind of like, that's not too bad, but it's not something I really want to watch over and over again. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about this one. The Cutting Edge, it is what it is. So, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and we've got another sports movie here. I guess this weekend was all about these different sports movies, but this one's a boxing film from the director of Rocky and also The Karate Kid. Did it have the same kind of success? I don't think it did, because nobody really ever talks about this one, but let's get into it, though. The Power of One.
From the Academy Award-winning director of Rocky and The Karate Kid comes the story of a boy, orphaned in a land he loved.
I am Pete.
I'm PK.
In harmony with the people that were not his family.
Oh, we have a boxer here.
As he grew, he trained to protect what he treasured. Learned to defend what he valued.
If we let them get away with it on our own grounds, it will never change.
He fought with his fists.
I want you to start the school to teach my people to read and write English. How much difference will that really make?
But he led with his heart.
A waterfall begins with only one drop of water, sir.
And found that one person can make a difference. Through the power of one. Stephen Dorff, John Gielgud, and Morgan Freeman. This unparalleled motion picture will take you on a breathtaking adventure into a remarkable triumph of the heart. Discover its uplifting power, the power of one.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in this particular movie. You've got a story set in South Africa, I should say, during World War II. You're following this English South African boy raised under apartheid, and his conflicting relationships with a German pianist, a colored boxing coach, and an Afrikaner romantic interest. There's three different movie plots put into this one, and I think that's the biggest problem with this movie, is that they combine so many different elements in here that they're trying to create another Rocky movie. It's not quite as obvious as something like Gladiator, but it's definitely in there. It's definitely in there disguised as, in a way, I think it is kind of a mix of both Rocky and the Karate Kid when you really think about it. It's just not a very good, it's not a very well-written movie. The performances overall in this are not that bad. You've got Stephen Dorff in here, you've got Armin Mueller-Stahl, you've got John Gielgud from Arthur, Morgan Freeman, Daniel Craig, James Bond in his first feature film debut. It's not a bad cast, and they are working decently well with the material given to them, but the film overall just reeks of both Rocky and a little bit of the Karate Kid mixed with an Oscar baitish type of story. But it just really doesn't work as well as I think they wanted it to. I think they really should have tried to make this much different than this director's other works to make it work better. But as it is, it just doesn't work very well. It's a movie that's pretty forgettable when you really think about it. Mostly because they really don't know which direction they want to go to with it, and it definitely shows on screen. So that is the power of one, and it just wasn't enough. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, and that is Danny Aiello as Jack Ruby in Ruby.
Most organized crime.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, Jack Ruby. This place is full of fun. What do you people want?
We just want you to do your duty for your country, Jack. Funny thing about life, Jack, you only get one shot.
Danny Aiello is Ruby.
Of course, this is the story of Jack Ruby, the man that killed Lee Harvey Oswald just days after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And I don't know if this was planned or this was actually supposed to come out later. It feels like this movie was coming really fast after JFK, because this came out 3 months after JFK did, and JFK's the better movie overall, but as far as this movie goes, I guess it's okay. I mean, it's another one of those movies where it's just like, there's really nothing exciting about it. I guess the performances by Danny Aiello, and you also have Sherilyn Fenn in here, I guess those are the only two things about this movie that really stood out to me. But as far as an overall film itself goes, it's not really as good as they think they wanted it to. I think there should have been, with a better person behind the scenes and a better script overall, maybe this could have been something great. But as it is, it just feels like a movie that's just trying to copy the success of JFK, and overall not really doing it all that well, at least in my opinion. So that's Ruby. Let's go ahead and move on to the last movie that we have here, and that is Roadside Prophets.
Somewhere between Barstow and Reno.
El Dorado.
Why do you want to go there anyway?
Because of this.
You selling drugs?
It's ashes. Met this guy?
Joe Mosley. Dave Coleman.
They had the coolest ride. They just died.
On the bike?
No, went in some video game.
Wow, which one?
Sam and Joe are going to hit reality head on.
What do you guys do?
Right.
Outlaws.
I know how it is. Start out, you roll through a few stop signs. Remember Billy Idol?
What you want to be on the lookout for is transcendent reality. Seeing in, seeing out.
I want you to look around. Just look around. Tell me what you see. A whole society that's obsessed with feeling good and happy. Come on.
Why do you like sex?
I don't know. Because it feels good.
Free food for the poor!
Together, they'll discover that Motel 9 is a state of mind.
Man, there was no wrapping on one of my drinking glasses. There was no bath soap in my room.
But I...
And El Dorado ain't no Cadillac.
They got these fish up there called wee-wees or something. When they get old, they get big. When they get big, they get feet.
John Doe, Adam Horowitz, David Carradine, Timothy Leary, Arlo Guthrie, and John Cusack. If you're going to think, don't drive.
I guess if you want to die in the vine with the Empire in decline, it's up to you.
Roadside Prophets.
I haven't really seen this movie, but it's got a decent cast to it. Basically, when they say it's made by the same people that made Sid and Nancy. It's basically made by the co-writer of Sid and Nancy, is Abby Rule, and I don't know. I don't really see a whole lot of that in this, but just in that trailer alone. But it's got a decent cast to it. Adam Horovitz, of course, from the Beastie Boys. John Cusack's in this. David Carradine. Don Cheadle's in this movie. So was Flea. Stephen Tobolowsky. Lynn Shay. An overall decent cast in here. I haven't really seen the movie, so I can't really comment on it too much, but it does look like it's trying a little bit too hard on trying to capture the spirit of Easy Rider, make a new Easy Rider for the 90s, but heard some good things about it, so maybe it isn't as bad as I'm thinking it's going to be, but I'll check it out one day.